Thank you, Speaker. I also rise to address the government business program. And in doing so, Speaker, I want to say this. The very foundational institution of our democracy, the Parliament, matters. Democracy matters. Freedom matters and must be defended at all costs. In my first contribution in this place, about 3 years ago, I recalled the service and the sacrifice of more than 102,000 Australian men and women who gave of themselves in blood, who paid the ultimate sacrifice to defend freedom and to defend democracy. And yet the manager of government business comes into this place seeking to, with the fiat of her party, dispose of those traditions, dispose of those foundations, dispose of any community consultation or engagement, dispose of any processes that would otherwise be acceptable, to introduce legislation that would surpass and would undermine those freedoms. Now, Speaker, in the last 16 hours, I've been contacted by hundreds of people, hundreds of Victorians, who have indicated to me that they are worried about the legislation that the government proposes, the Public Health and Wellbeing Amendment Pandemic Management Bill 2021. In the last 18 months, Speaker, the Premier has wielded unprecedented power to declare pandemics and enforce emergency laws under legislation, which is set to replace Victoria's controversial state of emergency framework. But the nature of this type of bill, of course, Speaker, undermines the very fabric of democracy. We must give Victorians their lives and livelihoods back, Speaker, and rebuild our mutilated economy. When I address these matters, Speaker, I think about those business owners in my own constituency, those mums and dads in my own constituency, those school children in my own constituency who I have done my very best to help these past 18 months, those mums who have been in tears, who are deeply concerned about their own children's mental health, those children who have been denied the opportunity to be in classes. Face-to-face learning has been denied of those children because of decisions made by this government. And yet the legislation that this government wants to bring into this place gives them more power to do more damage. This must not be accepted, Speaker. This cannot be accepted, Speaker. We must do better. We must do better for all those people who have been affected, whose mental health has been affected, all those people who have just demonstrated that they have no other choice but to
resume his seat for a moment. A point of order, Leader of the House.
Yes, seriously, Speaker, this is a procedural debate. If the member chooses to make this contribution, he can make it during the debate on the bill. I ask him to come back to the procedural motion that is before the House, not the substance of the Public Health and Wellbeing Bill.
During this debate, members have touched on the content of a number of bills, one bill in particular. Members have been careful to relate those comments back to the government business program. I do ask the member to relate his comments to the business program.
Speaker, the bill proposed on the government business program is one that must be opposed because it has the potential to give the government power which affects people's lives in a way that is unacceptable. And if you wish to see how that power that the government has wielded over people's lives in the last 18 months is acceptable, there are many cases in point which I previously attempted to address before I was interrupted by the Manager of Government Business. These matters are serious. This bill deserves decent consultation. This bill deserves a decent scrutiny, and it is my fear that the government will simply not allow that to take place. And the effect on the lives of Victorians, those people, Speaker, who are the people, the good people of Victoria who have put us here to represent them and to advocate for them, that will not be allowed to take place because of this government's agenda. Speaker, I commend the Manager Opposition Business amendment to this motion, and I will be opposing the government business program today.